I've been asked to share my aha moment. Seeing as how you didn't know me when I was young, perhaps I should start there. I started drinking seriously around the age of 12. I made it through school, still more interested in partying and studying than working, because that's what the group that I ran with did back in the day, back in the 60s. I thought that I had everything under control through that time, but with the benefit of hindsight, I realized that I was in a downward spiral for years. After I graduated high school in 1969, I worked for a newspaper office in Lancaster, Missouri until I was 21 when I moved to Nashville, Tennessee. I worked construction until I lost my job because I couldn't or wouldn't stay sober. I lost my apartment, my possessions, and I lived in my '64 Volkswagen for about 6 months, sinking further and further into my addiction. Finally, my brother David got me a job with his father-in-law in Atlanta, Georgia, mostly to get me away from the group that I was running with there in Nashville. It didn't last very long there. I took my habits with me, just didn't work very well. So I really didn't know why everybody was against me. I mean, I wasn't hurting anyone. It was my life. At least that was my rationalization. I mean, it wasn't me. It was everybody else that was causing me these problems in my life. So in May of 1975, for some reason that I don't understand, I decided I wanted to join the Navy. I worked hard for 3 months to lose enough weight to get in. I quit drinking and everything else, thinking that maybe a change of scenery, a change of occupation, something would make my life seem more complete. I didn't know what it was, but everybody else around me had something that I didn't have, and I was bound to find out what it was, what that something was. In October of '75, got into the Navy and did pretty well for about a year. But the pride that I felt in the uniform wasn't enough to keep me sober. I didn't fall off the wagon. I think I jumped. It wasn't my fault, though. I was passed over for promotion, or somebody did this or somebody did that. I mean, it couldn't have been something that I was responsible for. For obviously, everybody and everything was just against me. I went through alcohol detox twice while I was stationed in Alaska, but each time I made it through rehab, somebody, usually me, would convince me that I really didn't have a drinking problem. I could quit whenever I wanted, so obviously I wasn't an addict. My friends were telling me, and I was okay with that because I knew they were right, because they were telling me what I wanted to hear. I got out of the Navy in July of '79 and moved back to Livonia. I started a computer maintenance course at Indian Hills in Ottumwa, but my drinking took a toll there too, and I flunked out. Through my life, even with the drinking and everything else, that was the first time that I had ever failed at something. Me, I failed. My drinking friends didn't care. They told me I didn't need that stuff anyway. And that's just what I wanted to hear. So in December, I bought a little gas station in Livonia and settled in, continuing my downward spiral. One day in May, a girl came into my gas station to get gas. She was headed to the dentist and she didn't feel good. But she had the prettiest blue eyes I had ever seen, ever. I didn't often date because such stuff cut into my partying time, so I tried flirting, but I really wasn't very good at it. I didn't do a very good job. I don't think she was impressed. I mentioned the fact that I thought she was cute to her sister, and who for some reason thought that I was salvageable. At the time, I didn't even think I was salvageable. Feeling sorry for myself here. Another reason to drown your sorrows. I tried every argument with myself to convince me that going out with Marty wasn't the thing to do. After all, I was older, she was cute, she was in college, and I wasn't good enough for her. So while it was against my better judgment, and I use that term lightly, at Marty's sister's urging, I asked her if I could see her. And wonder, she said okay. Not yes, but okay. I stumbled through the dating process. I wasn't very good at it. I mean, this was to actually become my first serious relationship. I was in foreign territory. I was still drinking through this time, but a little less. I was trying to make a decent impression. We dated for almost 16 months, and as our relationship grew, I was amazed that given the place in my life that I was at, she saw something of value in me that I didn't see. I finally got up the nerve to ask her to marry me, and in the discussion, my drinking came into the mix. My wife's grandfather had been an alcoholic, and Marty said she couldn't live in a relationship like that. I said that I could quit any time, and I would to have her in my life. I was amazed. I was absolutely amazed when she said yes. Things went well for a couple of months, then Satan got me. Marty went out with some girlfriends to celebrate getting engaged, and I got jealous and my thoughts came to mind that I'd just show her. I got one of my friends and I got really drunk. I hit a parked car, spent the night in jail, pretty much destroyed the trust that our relationship was being built on. I knew that it was over. If only my friend hadn't said it was okay for me to drink. Maybe it wasn't my fault. Again, the rationalizations. I was at my rock bottom. The spiral ended. There was nothing left that I cared about without having Marty in my life. My father-in-law saved me. He convinced Marty to speak with me, at least so I could try to apologize. I did. She cried. I cried. I left her house not knowing if she was ever going to be willing to trust me again or not. I left. I didn't know if she would be able to trust me. I didn't have a very good record of reliability. When I left her house that night, got in my car, there was a huge moon coming up. I sat there and I looked at it, and something reached inside me. And all of a sudden the words, "God, I can't do this by myself, I need your help," came out. That was 27 years ago. And with God's help, my life changed. I've been sober since. I think that was my aha moment. I'm not proud of some of the things in my life, but they're a part of what shaped me to be the man you know today. All I know is, I believe that if we truly believe in God's Word, and we trust in God's will and not ours, is the right way to live our lives, then we have nothing to fear in this world. Looking back, I believe I've been in God's hand throughout my life. That God has a purpose for me, a plan that I don't understand. Maybe sharing this aha moment is part of that plan. Thanks.